So as I was saying, when it's looking at people's families and what they do and how they behave, families, friendships, relationships, and even work colleagues. Um, and it's the backhanders, it's the passive aggressive, it's the um, telling you that you look lovely, but shame your legs are fat or whatever. Like you're just saying,
Yeah.
I've got a mother who's very, very similar. People say, you can't do that, or, I'm never good enough, or nothing's ever perfect. And these are really, really common traits. And sometimes it's like with parenting, they have to, it's someone that you have to be in contact with, like an ex-husband or ex wife or partner or whatever you want to call them. And you have to be in contact with them because you've got children, but it's putting up with that passive aggressive, those nasty little traits that they have where they say things that you think, I know you're being nasty there, and it's really not necessary. But you kind of smile and through gritted teeth and put up with it. And putting up with that criticism and rejection or being put down, and being told that you're not good enough or you're not perfect or whatever, it does get to you after a while, and it can make you feel uh, very like low self-esteem. You can lack confidence, um, and it can also make you feel very low and depressed, and it can also give you trauma and make you feel unwell in the body. As we talk about, the body holds the score. And sometimes it could take that abuse mentally, um, usually mentally or physically abuse, can go on for years and years and years. And it just becomes a way of life. And we get used to it. Our clients can get used to it, especially if it's a mum, a parent, um, a mother in law, a sister in law, a cousin, a sister, a brother, or someone that's in the family that you kind of just put up with it. But we shouldn't really, but we do. And I see loads of clients that have this problem. And when we do the cord cutting, it really helps. And they don't feel that anxiety or that overwhelming feeling, or before they go to a family event that they attend because they've got children and they all want the children to be there and other people. They're not having that overthinking, or they're not thinking, if I get there, if that person says X, Y, and Z, then I'm going to tell her da 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 da. Um, those scenarios that are playing in your head before you've even got to the event, or before they're even turning up to your home to do whatever, or if you're in work before you've got into work, or if you're in a meeting before it's actually happened, you're overthinking, over worry, over analysing it. And even after the event, it could be, oh, she said that. What did she mean by that? I bet she means she's talking about blah, da, 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 da. It's that escalating, isn't it? What did they mean by that? What did she mean when she said this? Oh, I saw the way that she looked at me. But sometimes when you say that to someone else, they might go, oh, you're just imagining it. You're not. And um, I quite often find that clients will come in and start to talk about an issue like this, but it's not really until they say it, because they feel sometimes silly saying, oh, she said I didn't have enough candles out, or whatever, the passive aggressiveness. And when you say it, you can feel a bit silly, like, oh, I feel silly saying this, it seems so petty. But when it's lots and lots of stuff, it all adds up. And it does, that constant criticism, that constant putting you down, does get to you eventually, and sometimes quite quickly. They can also It can also, sorry, start again. It can also happen in the workplace. And when you're in a workplace and you're in a job that you might not be that you quite like, but maybe your boss or someone you have to work with isn't very nice, um, but you have to put up with them. And it's kind of cutting those cords with those people. And it might have been something that you got on really well as work colleagues before. You might have got on really well, and then something happened and you ended up as rivals. Maybe one got promoted or whatever. So it's then cutting those cords and releasing and letting go of whatever's gone on. So we all know that with most of these things, we can do an emotional detox and get rid of some stuff. If you've got a client that's come in and they're like, I know I need an emotional detox because I've been going through a lot. If they keep coming up and talking about the same person or a couple of people, this is where the cord cutting can come in, and being able to cut those cords with those people and letting them go so that they can't hurt them anymore. So the results that I've had with my clients is that they've said to me, oh my God, like my mother-in-law comes round now and she says her nasty little quips or whatever she says to me. And instead of biting, instead of reacting, I just go, oh yeah, I know, you're so right. And then not feeding the narcissistic behavior, because that's what the narcissistic person wants. So it's getting them to be accepting that they have got, they've got these issues for whatever reason, maybe that through childhood, through trauma, through their parenting, through their marriage or their friendships or whatever's gone on in their life. That's their problem. If your client comes to you and they know that they're either being almost bullied or being spoke to in this way, passive aggressive or behaviour towards them that they don't think, which is harming them. And even if it's something that's in the past and they haven't got anything to do with that person anymore, they can cut that tie, and get rid of them, because they can come back and haunt. And also people that have broken up with someone. So if someone has split up with their boyfriend or their girlfriend for whatever reason, but they didn't want that to happen and they're heartbroken, and all they do is think about that person. I wish we were together. Oh, I wish I could go around there and sort this out. Or texting them when you've had a few drinks, or texting them in the middle of the night when you're crying and you're upset. Clients like that, where we can sort of say to them, cut those cords and you won't feel the need to message or text or do any of that. Communication will come to an end, so that you start to look after yourself. Any questions about what I've just said? No? All right with that. So it's really talking to the client when a client comes in and they want to change things, and then what we're going to do about that, and how we're going to, because how we're going to change them and make them feel safe, protected, looked after. And some people won't have a voice, so it'll be like they've got so suppressed so many times that they just think, oh, I just won't say anything and then I'll be all right. And some people need to stand up and talk for them, and speak for themselves. And we can change that as well. So it's like just opening up the throat and allowing yourself to speak. If your client feels the need to want to speak to those people, whoever that may be, and tell them how they feel, depending on the situation. Some people will be telling the person that's bothered them, if they're telling them in real life or they're telling them in hypnosis, it can help release a lot of stuff. If they're doing it in real life, it can backfire. And what I mean by that is if they've got narcissistic behavior, and I'll go through narcissism in a minute, um, the narcissist will just turn it around and deny it and say that you're being too sensitive, too sensitive. Oh, I was only joking, um, and that's the way they work. So it's not feeding them any information, or not dealing with them, um, not allowing them to harm you. Okay, so there's something called the grey technique, and that's when people talk to you, and they ask you like, "How was your weekend?" Let's say a work colleague says, "Oh, how was your weekend?" And instead of saying, "Oh yeah, I went uh, jogging, I did a run, and oh, I did this and did that," and for them to say, "Oh yeah, you're not a very good runner, and you can't do that," or "You look really fat," or whatever it is that they've said to you, is like, "Oh yeah, I had a really good weekend, thanks." And did you get that email on Tuesday, or did you sort out da 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 da? Changing the subject, yes, no answers. You're not feeding them then the to give them ammunition to fire back at you. Does that make sense? So instead of like going, "Oh yeah, I had a lovely weekend, I went shopping and bought myself a nice new dress," for them to go, "Oh, right for some minute, got money to burn, have you now?" Okay. So it's keeping your boundaries and keeping yourself, keeping the client or your free, keeping them free from allowing this harm, this abuse, and it is mental abuse, especially if it's all the time. I mean, I'll be the first person to take the piss or say something, um, but you'll know it's come from a place of love. It's not come from being nasty. It's just come from like my sarcasm or whatever it is. But there are people that are there that will do it all the time, and that passive aggressiveness that can be really um, that can be really nasty. Has anyone come across anyone like what I've been talking about? I'm sure you all have.
Yeah.
You all start thinking, "Oh, so he does that, he does that, da 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 da." Um, and it's how, as we know, it's how we deal with that. It's how we deal with that person, and how do we allow them to put us down in that way or to treat us that way, um, or do we put up that barrier and go, actually, put up that barrier, that boundary, and go, "Look, these are my boundaries. I need to protect myself from this." You don't have to tell them, but it's just knowing that you can protect yourself, because it will and can and it will damage you in some way. If it's constant criticism, especially criticism, it's huge. Criticism and rejection is huge and can be really quite telling on the body. Yeah. So when it comes to relationships and narcissistic relationships, and this seems to be becoming more, I don't know if people are becoming more and more aware of narcissistic behavior. Um, but it seems to be becoming, people are aware of it, and maybe before they just saw it as a different way, or just the way that someone is. Some of the common things that narcissistic relationship patterns are, that would be love bombing, moving too fast in a relationship, telling they love you after a short space of time, with loads of charm and mirroring, and they lack genuine empathy. So if you're getting into a relationship and you go, "Oh, it was absolutely wonderful. When I first met him, he was so lovely. He was charming. He was wonderful when he told me he loved me, and that I was the person he's been looking for all these years, and he wished he'd met me years ago," and all of those sort of things that can feel really nice and give you that dopamine and that oxytocin feeling. Um, but then as time goes on, they feel that they need to control you, and they don't have, they're never accountable for anything. Um, and it can make you feel and have low self-esteem. You can lose your identification, who you are. You can feel confused about what's going on, anxiety, depression, and feeling quite isolated if you're dealing with someone who's a narcissist. And some of the other things that that they do is, they have to be best. Like, you might make spaghetti bolognese, and they'll be like, "Yeah, but it's not as good as mine. Mine's better than yours." And that's so childish, but it's what a lot of narcissistic behaviour will do. And it seems also petty, but when it's all the time, it gets you down. You know, even making a cup of tea would be, but did you stir it? Or did you put any sugar in that? You know, even if you're making them a cup of tea regularly, but you never quite get it right because they're looking for perfection and they're attention seeking. They want your attention or someone else's attention all the time, whatever way they can. They also commonly will blame others. And it doesn't matter what they're doing or what's going on. You know, when you think, well, that's obviously your fault, and they blame someone else. They never take accountability. They never take responsibility for anything that's ever happened. They always play almost like the victim. They never seem to. They tend to have trust issues as well. They don't trust the relationship. They're worried about. They normally worry about rejection because they struggle to trust. They're looking for any little sign. You know, you could be on your phone texting your mate. Who are you texting? What are you doing that for? You know, they'll be picking up. Why are you doing this? Why are you doing that? Where are you going? What time will you be back? Who are you going to be with? That questioning. And some people will be confused at first. Oh, he loves me, so he wants to know where I'm going. Oh, he loves me because he wants to know where I am all the time. Or is it controlling? If your client comes to you and says, I thought it was love at first because he's been love bombing me and tells me he loves me and blah, 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 and now he just wants to know where I am at every minute of the day. At first, I took it as a compliment, but now I realise that it's actually really controlling. And quite often, the narcissist will be, will have their own issues, obviously, but they won't want you to, they won't want the other person to see their own insecurities and their own struggles, especially if they've gone through lots of relationships where it's all gone wrong. And they'll notice these patterns after a while. They start going, oh, I realised that actually he was controlling me, what I was eating, what I looked like, not feeling good enough. And this is what I see a lot of in my practice, where I see with my clients. Have anyone else had clients like that?
This
Yeah.
whole this for tonight is for a massive one I've got. I can't wait. I'm absolutely buzzing for it.
And this is someone you spoke about a little while ago, didn't you?
Yeah, because I tried to book her in because I knew I was doing it today, and she left me the voice note, and I was like, oh, God. If you want to leave it till after Christmas, but no, you need it now.
And you said you know someone, Sandra. You know,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. So it's recognizing it, and sometimes I think as therapists we can easily analyze that, and sometimes it's quite innocent, and sometimes it's not. Um, but who are we to judge? You know, this is where we come back to, if your client is saying all these things, and it just makes it a little bit more, makes you a little bit more aware of these traits, and knowing that these things can go on, um, and you see the pattern of their behavior of someone's behavior. But it can work in so many different, um, like I think co-parenting is quite a tough one because you always have to have um, some sort of relationship or contact with the partner of your children until they get to get to an 18 years of age, and that can be really hard for a lot of people, and if they're finding it hard to move on, um, or they're in the process of leaving someone, that's always difficult. Or family events where you know that you've got to see this particular person at that event again because it's a wedding or it's Christmas or whatever. Um, but it's stepping away and recognizing it and not feeding them. Yeah. So one of the things, simple thing that we can do is, and you probably relate to this, is if there's someone that, like a boss or someone that they have to deal with all the time, or a mother-in-law or father-in-law or someone who's not very nice to them on a regular basis, is asking the client to take a deep breath in and just recognize that voice. And when I say that voice, that takes them into disassociation. When we say that voice, it's like unattached from us. Obviously, it's the other person that makes it disassociated, so that they're not. It's not coming into you. It's that over there. So if you ask them, where is that voice coming from when that person's in your head saying you can't do that, you're not good enough? Where is that voice coming from? So what I mean is, if they're talking to you and they're saying, like, I can hear my mum saying, you can't do it, you're not good enough, da 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 da. Is that voice right in front of you? Is it above you? Is it to the right of you? Is it to the left of you? Where is that voice coming from? Once you establish where it's coming from, oh, I can hear her. She's like above me to my left. You can't do it. You're not good enough. Who do you think you are? Right? It's change. You can change the voice. So I want you to think about someone now. I want you to think about someone now who might have said something to you in a nasty way or a way that you thought, oh, that was a bit insulting. And I want you to think about their voice, where that voice came from. What part did it come from? Maybe above the head, side of the head, behind you. It doesn't really matter. Think about whereabouts that comes from. And their voice, the tone of their voice, the way that they said it. You know when you've got that? Yeah. Just think about the voice, what it sounds like, how the tone of it, what they were saying, and whereabouts it is, above you, side of you, or whatever. Now, what I want you to do is I want you to think about that person, what they look like. And I want you to change the way that they look. So I want you to think of them as a cartoon character. And that could be like Minnie Mouse, Tasmanian Devil, Daffy Duck, doesn't matter. Any sort of cartoon character. And change their voice to saying those words. If the voice is high, well, I mean high, I don't mean, um, I mean high is above you or to the side of you or behind you. Take the voice down, all the way down to the floor. Make them small. So they're no bigger than your knee. Imagine them shrinking down and then got Minnie Mouse's voice, look like Minnie Mouse, and they're saying those words, whatever they're saying to you. And then notice how that makes you feel. And how does that make you feel now? Just when you're ready, come back. What did you experience?
Yeah, it doesn't get much. Yeah.
What did you say, Sandra? I didn't catch what you said.
Make me laugh. Turn me into Donald Duck.
Yeah, it's not the same, is it? It doesn't have the same effect. When it's we're talking about someone who's here shouting at you, or if you quieten the voice, tone them down, take them down towards the floor, turn them into Daffy Duck, and then have them say, "You're not good enough." Like you said, it makes you laugh, it makes you giggle, and you're just like, "Shut up, you idiot."
Oh,
So if that's someone that's constantly talking to you, then you hear them in the Mickey Mouse voice. And I've had a client who was like that. It was with her mother-in-law actually. And she said they was living with her mother-in-law. Her and her family were living. Her husband and the kids were living with her mother-in-law. And she said, "Oh, she keeps having a go at me about not folding my husband's pants up or something ridiculous." And she said, "Oh, now every time she says it, I hear her as Mickey Mouse saying it, that you haven't folded his pants properly." And she said, "Now I just sort of smile at her and go, yeah, I know, but he can do it himself." There's also the reframing. Is reframing what they've said. And we do reframing in the NLP. So if it was something that they said regularly, then reframe it and see how that changes. So if it was like, "Well, you're not folding his pants up properly," you go, "Well, yeah, you're probably right, but is there a wrong or a right way to do that?" Reframing something can really help. If they're saying you're not good enough, it would be like, according to who? Who says I'm not good enough? You? Or ask them to repeat the question. Can you say that again? When someone says something bad, like you're not good enough, say, "Sorry, can you say that again?" Quite often they will back off and sort of go, well, you're not good enough. They normally say it sometimes out of the moment or for effect. When you say to them, "Well, say that again. What did you say? Say that again. I didn't quite catch what you said. Say that again." It doesn't come across as so fierce the second time round, or they might not say it. And these are the kind of things that we can work with and ask, for the clients to go home with. If there's something there they're always saying that you can't seem to escape.
so you don't have to take them into hypnosis to do that, do you?
No,
It's all part.
just chatting and say, or when they've got
Yeah.
to the end, when they get to the end of it, like when they've had their hypnosis, we'll get onto the hypnosis part in a minute. When they're finishing, or even beforehand, um, going through it and saying, well, you could think about what they say all the time, change that to Minnie Mouse. Where's that voice coming from? Make it, lower or further away. That can really, really help. Just by changing the tone of the voice makes a huge difference to people. It's never so serious. Or asking them to repeat that Sorry, can you say that again? That's what you're saying. Is like, what? Um, it doesn't have quite the impact when they say it the second time, if they say it again, or when they hear those words, they start thinking, actually, that sounded a bit nasty. So they're more of like take home, for your client to take home with them. That makes sense, everyone, with step two.
Yeah.
Yes. So you've had a chat with them and you've found out like that they've really got some issues with the person in question. It can be more than one person, because it might have been something over the years. It might have been they've realised that they're attracted to the same person and they keep repeating the pattern. And they've come to realise that, and now they want to get rid of several people. Most people only have one or two people that are driving them mad or feel like they're being aggressive towards them. Some have more, but most will only have maybe one or two. If it's family related, it can sometimes be, like I've said before, the mother-in-law or the sister-in-law or brother-in-law or someone that's in, or grandmother or someone who's in the family. If it's work, it's normally, maybe it's a boss or someone that they have to work with, or co-parenting. So it's normally one or sometimes two people that they have to deal with that's causing this sort of mental abuse, I suppose. So if the clients come to you and they have got this problem, or they're heartbroken, was the other one, heartbroken, if they're with someone that they've split up with and they're devastated, but they can't stop thinking about them, that's all they think about, and they, like I said earlier, like they're texting them and they're getting in contact with them and they're like, um, absolutely heartbroken, and they only see the good stuff in the relationship. They're not seeing, they're still a bit delusional. They're seeing the good in the relationship. That's all they're seeing, because they remember the good times that they had, forgetting the negatives. And it's about really saying, right, we can cut these cords and let go of some of this stuff. So starting off would be looking at the future, where you're going and what you're doing, where you're going. So take them into hypnosis, your usual deepener, or whatever way you want to do them, induction, deepener. Look at the future and where you're going. Think about what you want from life. Think about where you're going, what you want to achieve, and how you're going to get there. But there's some people that are putting you down, or a person that's putting you down, and it's not good for you. And it's time to make some changes about that. Go on to the white light, the emotional detox, where they're going to get rid of nothing to do with this person, or it could be to do with the person. It doesn't matter. As we know, because it's content free, they're going to let go. They're going to let go of the negative thoughts, feelings, behaviours, habits, any guilt, any shame, any hurt, any pain that they've been holding on to for far too long. Feel that white light pull out, drag out any negative thoughts, feelings, behaviours, habits, whatever it is. Once released, just release that. And as you know, then you're quiet and let them do their thing. Okay. You may want to regress them back if they've had a really abusive relationship, and something happened in that relationship, maybe a form of sexual abuse, or maybe there was a car accident they were in with that person that made them feel vulnerable, or whatever happened to them, or maybe when it very first started, you might want to take them back. My screen, sorry. You may want to take them back to that event, regress them back, go back to that event, see what happened. Or if they had a really big argument, go back and see what was going on. You might want to see what was going on, feel what was going on, release that issue, that problem. Often when we're in an argument, we say things that we don't really mean. We scream and shout. We might kick things, or the other person might kick things. throw things, punch doors, that sort of thing can happen. Or could punch the person, if it's an abusive relationship. So it's seeing what was going on and releasing that trauma and seeing it from a different perspective, what was going on, and releasing that if that's necessary. If not, if there's an image, there might be an image, you might want to release the image and say to me, is there any images that you've got that you can't get rid of? Then we can do that, as you know, when we do the spin. So see the image in black and white or colour, make it black and white, shrink it down, spin it the way the sun goes down, not the way the sun comes up, but the way the sun goes down, spin it fast away from you, set light to it, get rid of it. Excuse me. So you do emotional detox. You might regress them back to the time where maybe an event happened that they might want to look at or release it. With maybe connect, shift, release that feeling. If there's just an image, release the image, get rid of that. Okay, you might not do all of these, but these are the things leading up to it. Then most of you will be aware of taking someone onto a bench, going out in nature. If you've ever done the bench, you'll know how powerful it is to sit there and have a chat with that person. To sit in nature and have a chat with that one person or two people or whatever it may be. So they have that chat. We know that the mind doesn't know the difference between reality and imagination. When they have that chat, the mind thinks it really happened, and it can help release things and can make you feel better. Or you can listen to what they have to say, and that can help you release it, make you feel better. Or you might find that someone else comes in completely different. Keep it ambiguous. If someone else comes in and says to them, someone who's passed over might come in and go, you don't have to put up with this. They might get an answer that way. They might already subconsciously know that. They just needed someone to tell them.
Sorry, what was it, Max? You don't have to?
If you go on the bench, they don't have to talk to the person. Leave it ambiguous. They don't have to say to them, you're going to talk to your husband now. You can say someone's going to come in. It could be someone who's passed over, or someone who's in your current life, or someone who's from the past. Leave it open, because someone from the past, someone from who's passed over might come in and say, you don't need to put up with this from your partner, your husband, your wife, your mother-in-law. Stand up for yourself. You see what I mean? Someone might come in and say that.
And that helps them to speak for themselves moving
Yeah, it
forward.
can be. It can make them feel like if they've said it, or if that person that they're angry with, or that person that they're that's bothering them says the things that they're going to say, then you tell them how you feel. It can help release stuff. But it could be someone that comes in from previous, who's passed over, and they might come in and go, you don't have to put up with your husband talking to you like that, or putting up with your wife. You have options, you have choices. It's time to get out, or whatever they may say. But we don't know. We don't know what they're going to say, do we?
And is it possible for the same person whom they have like toxic relationship with, same person comes and then speaks in the same tone and aggressive? Is it possible?
Yeah, of course it is. Anything's
So
possible.
what's the outcome of that chat with them?
If that happens, it can, if that person talks to your client in that aggressiveness way or that bad way, then they can say to them what they feel. If they didn't say it before, they can say to them, actually, don't talk to me like that. I don't like that. I won't accept that. And it can make you feel better. So that can happen. Or you can say to that person, okay, now that person's, if they're being aggressive, if they're telling you they're being aggressive and they're being horrible, change their voice, change it to the Minnie Mouse, and see how it makes you feel. But quite often, because we're stepping out of the situation, when we're in that environment, that arguing environment, where the bad words being said all the time, when we step away from that and we see it, you know, what it is, when they come in and have a chat with you in a calm manner, we see it differently. We see it from a different perspective. And then you can
Can
talk
we see
way.
their weakness?
Yeah. So instead of
Why they're being aggressive all the time? Because in themselves they have lower self-esteem and they're not confident. That's why they over, I don't know, they say it in a way so they speak louder and in aggressive manner. So they're kind of hiding their low self-esteem and lack of.
yeah. Yeah, they're almost like animal instinct, isn't it? It's like showing off their big chest and how they can fight. And if they're really loud, then that makes them, more scary. But when they're sitting on a bench and you're just chatting and they're screaming and shouting at you, you're a bit like, whoa, hang on a minute. It's more about them, isn't it, then? It changes things. And you start to see them as a little bit like frightened, low, like you said, frightened, low self-esteem. You see it differently when you're in an argument with someone and you're both at each other's throats and you're both screaming and shouting at each other and you're both at log ends, you're like, ah, or even if it's passive aggressive and you're talking nasty to each other, when you're sitting down in the bench in your mind and they're saying those things, it's a bit like, it doesn't mean anything to me now. You can go. It just changes the perspective. So once you've done the bench, once you've done the bench and they've had a chat, and like I said, it could be the person in question or it could be someone completely different, then we're going to be looking at what we're going to do next. Now, I might jump straight in and do the cord cutting. If I feel like this has been a long time coming, if this has been a lot of stuff, I might change it and get them to have a table in front of them and write down all the things that that person has constantly said on post-it notes. This technique that I use for the post-it notes works really well if someone's negative and too negative. So if they take a pad of post-it notes and write down all the times that that person has said, you're no good at cooking, you can't spell, you're not good enough, you can't wear those clothes, who do you think you are? If they're constantly passive aggressive with your client, then get them to write it down on each one on a post-it note and pop it on that table. When they've got the post-it notes in front of them, it might only be a few, it might be a lot. Get them to write it down. Then get them to get another post-it note and write down how they could reframe that. So, for example, if they said, your cooking is like you're not a very good cook, or you can't cook spaghetti bolognese as well as me. Well, according to who? That's your opinion, but our sons like it, or my mum enjoys it, or whatever. What's the positive outcome? How could you reframe that? Or if they said you shouldn't be wearing that dress, you look like mutton dressed up as lamb, or you look ridiculous in that dress. Well, I feel comfortable in this dress and I'm going to wear it with confidence. So it's changing it so that when other things come up in the future, that they might say, you can't afford to buy that. Well, what makes you think I can't afford it? Or you can't do that. Well, watch me. and writing those down and then getting rid of the negative, like shredding it, putting it in a shredder and getting rid of it. Or you can put it in a jam jar, or you can put it in a box and you can give it to them with the cutting of the cords. It's entirely up to you. But that will depend on your client. Okay, so they've written it down on post-it notes, they've looked at it, they've thought about it, they've reframed it, or they've changed it from a negative to a positive. They've got rid of the negatives and they've cut them up. Yeah. Any questions so far? Okay, so you've done that and they're still in nature. So you want them to be, if you do the table, great. If you don't want to do the table, fine. Go from the bench into the nature. And I want you to imagine that you're in nature. When they're in nature, the person in question is going to be standing in front of them just a few feet away. If it's someone that sexually abused them or physically abused them in any kind of way, then you can remind them that they're safe and that they're okay. If it's a family member, like a mother-in-law, father-in-law, or sister-in-law, or co-parenting and an ex-partner, a worker, someone you work with, a mother, if it's the cords are there, the energetic cords. Now, the way this works is that we all have energetic cords that we can't see them, they're completely invisible. But we've all experienced it, I'm sure, is when you've met someone or you've been out with someone and they absolutely drain you. Their energy is dark. Has anyone experienced that?
Mm.
Yeah, it can be. And we've had clients like that, right? The clients that have come in and you're
Yeah.
like, oh my God, as soon as that person goes, I feel like exhausted. We've all had that kind of feeling, haven't we? Where we've gone, oh my God, exhausted. And we have the other way around, where people uplift us and make us feel good, and make us feel great. So we have that kind of energetic, if you imagine it being like an energetic cord that's related, that goes from you to them. Now, I leave it ambiguous. I always say to them, like, that cord, there could be one cord, it could be several cords. And some of those cords could be good, positive cords, and some are bad. Some are rotten. Some are negative. Some are loving. Some are love cords that are there. And you love them, but you're not in love with them if they're ex-partner, or there's someone that you love, like if it's a mother, you love them, but you know that they're not healthy for you. So you've got those cords, and they can run from anywhere. Those cords could run from the heart. I've had clients that say they're from the stomach. They could be through the wrists. They could be anywhere. And those cords run from you to that other person or persons. There might be more than one person. And then looking at those cords, and like I said, they might be thick cords, or they might be thin. They may be certain colours, or whatever it is. And then what you're going to ask the client to do is to take some scissors or shears, or I say or sword, anything that they can cut those cords with. They cut their end of the sword, they cut their end of the cord, and they go over and cut the other end of the cord on that person. They cut that end. The cord then drops to the floor. And there might be several cords that they want to cut. And they might want to keep some of the cords. If there's a love cord there, they might still love their mum or their dad, but they want to cut the negative side of the negative cords. Have you got a question, Nick?
They're just going to be in front of you. You're getting them to imagine the cord, and then you're not going to get them to bring up anything. You're going to just get them to start cutting straight away.
All right, start cutting the cords that they want to get rid of. You're saying to them, these are the cords that I want to cut. I'm going to cut these cords. I'm going to let them go. I'm going to cut every cord that's negative. They might say that in their head. The things that you've done to me, the way that you've treated me, or whatever has gone on, I cut those cords, I release them. I release those cords now. All you're doing is guiding the client. I'm going to let go of those cords, cut them off. The cords then drop to the floor. If you've done the table with them, and in the table that they've written down the bad stuff, the negative stuff, you could take those negative stuff and put them on the post-it notes, and you can put them into a jam jar and give the jam jar to them. Okay, it's all that negative stuff that you've given me. You can have it back with love, not with anger, not with resentment, not with guilt, not with shame, or any other negative emotion. You can have that negative stuff back that you gave to me with love. You've given it back, you've cut the cords, and you've given them either the jar full of the post-it notes, or you can simply ask them to put in those negative emotions into the jar or a box, any kind of container that they might want to take with them, and they give it back to the client. They give it back to the person. Once the cords are cut, they can pile the cords up and set light to them. If that's a good way to get rid of those cords, they're going to burn, or you can have a fire, throw them on the fire. Or I've had people that have said like they just disintegrated into the ground and just went. Whatever way works for your client, you want to get rid of them. They can set light to them, burn them, bury them, get rid of those cords. So once the cords are cut and they've given them back all the stuff, all the negatives that they've given to them, they then see the person turn around and walk in the opposite direction. Now you can really exaggerate this as well. You can either say they then get on a plane and they go away, they get in a boat and they go up the river, or you just see them walking into the distance and they just become a dot and they leave. Yeah. Any questions about that? Take a break.
When we say get rid of those cords, do we give them all the different options? You can bury, you can burn it, you can...
Yeah. You could dispose of those cords in any way that you wish to do so.
You're not chopping up the cords and giving the cords back to the person.
You can, if you want to. Here's the cords, put it in a box. You can go with them. It can be nice for a client to go, like, I put them on the fire and thought, yeah, that's the end. I burnt that, it's gone. It's finished. It's now dust. It can't come back. It can't grow. You also might want to seal the area. So if it was their heart, the cord has come from the heart or the stomach or wherever, it's saying like that, I can seal that now and heal that. But we'll come on to that in a minute. But seeing them walk away, and they could take their jam jar full of negativity, or they can take their box full of cords and negativity, and they can walk away with it. You might want to see them fly off or get on a boat or whatever you want to do. I had one client who wanted to strap her ex-husband to a rocket, and the rocket went up in the sky and she blew it up. She just said, I've got a gun and I'm going to shoot the rocket. It's like, okay, do what you like. It's your session, love. And she said it felt so good to see the rocket blow up. You'd be surprised how nasty some people can be when they're dealing with someone else who's been nasty to them. Does that make sense? So, or just take a quick break because I need a wee. Have a quick break. Just like, let's just say come back at 45, quarter to 8, just have to take 10 minutes, just grab a cup of tea, I need a drink and a quick wee, and then we'll come back. Think about if any of you have experienced someone who's like this and you want to be hypnotized for it, let me know. If you don't, that's fine, because I've got plenty more to be telling you how we're going to go on with it. If you do, then speak up. Have a cup of tea. Come back at quarter to 8. We'll take it from there. All right, and turn your things on mute. And I will stop recording, and I expect a noob to tell me, because that's the law now.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah.
Because we was only just chatting at the beginning. I was just chatting. So what I was saying was, is their behaviour when we like it, when we're at the beginning, if it's a narcissist and they have the love bombing and you're wonderful, I love you, and after a very short period of time, and we should get married and all of that, and then he suddenly turns, or she turns, and goes, actually, you know, I'm seeing someone else, or I'm not really interested. That honeymoon period is over, and it can make you feel low, depressed, low self-esteem. The criticism starts kicking in, the controlling, all of that starts to kick in. But you want to really, the normal person, or whoever's normal, want to go back to that love, that feel-good chemical that they were getting at the beginning of the relationship. But it's not.
Sorry, Matt, what did you say earlier? You said ADHD don't take well with rejection, and what was the other thing?
Criticism. People with ADHD don't take criticism well, or rejection. They take rejection very personally, like rejection as in, you didn't get the job. It's nothing personal. You just wasn't the right candidate, or the job wasn't meant for you. But they don't take that very well. So once the person's been put down, if you like, put in so many ways, criticism, rejecting, and all of that, feeling, that's then going to make them feel really low. And that then snowballs into other things. So they're, not good enough, but also a lot of overthinking tends to come with that. How many people have you spoke to and they've said, I overthink everything? So overthinking is lack of trust. So quite often when someone is overthinking, it's because they don't trust themselves. So when we do the cord cutting, we then want to turn it around and then put in, you can trust yourself now, to use your intuition, to go with your gut instincts, to move forward into the future. So you want to see they want to see themselves going into the future now without that person, or if that person is still in their life, like a mother or a mother-in-law or whatever, is seeing that they can't harm them anymore. Now we can do that in a few ways. We can put in as suggestions, see themselves dealing with scenarios that might come up in the future that they might have dealt with, like a family event, or a Christmas dinner or whatever, and seeing themselves behave in the way that they want to behave, whatever that may be. But also we want to really install, because they've lost their self-esteem. So it's like respecting themselves. Maybe they need to speak up, voice their opinion, or accept themselves, to love themselves, respect themselves. But trust is really key, to trust themselves. to be able to let it go, whatever that person says to them, and not take it personally. We can also do something with a barrier that can come up. So almost like a bubble around the body, or a shield that comes around, so that if, for example, the mother-in-law comes round for dinner on a Monday night or whatever, and every time she comes around, she can't help but say nasty things about the home or dinner or whatever it is before she arrives, you put that shield up and you imagine that shield around you, protecting you. And any unkind words that come in hit the shield, they bounce back, and you give them back to her with love. Always with love, never anger, frustration, or guilt, or whatever. I give you back that insult with love. That gives you the power then, instead of them having the power. And to smile, I'm going to give you that back, that insult. Thank you for the insult. I'm going to give you that back. Or they might want to forgive the person after they've done cutting of the cords and say, I forgive them for whatever they've done to me. And they might want to say that to them. I forgive you before they leave. I forgive you for what you've done. But now I need to see you go. And that's back to having a new life, depending on what the situation is, because obviously it could be I might need a new relationship. The heartbreak, they might want to let go of that. I forgive you for breaking my heart, but now it's time for me to move on. And then you could do fixing the heart. Feel the heart. What's going on in the heart? What does that feel like when you think about that person? Is it damaging? Let's change that. If you've done connect shift, or you've done connect shift like energy healing and letting go of that stuff, the negative, then put in the good. This is the time where you're going to go, right, I'm going to put in the good stuff. You're going to feel really great. You're going to feel amazing. Think about all the people that do love you and care for you. You're putting in the good. But it's really about them trusting themselves to make the right decisions, to be the best version of themselves, to take care of themselves. That's self-love. It's really important. Yeah.
That's it.
Any questions? Let's just recap. So you're going to chat to them first and find out what it is the problem, or who is the problem, or both. Once you've established that, and you do an emotional detail, you can look at the future, where they're going, what they're doing, what they want to achieve. But this obstacle keeps coming in, because that will have the criticism, the rejection and abandonment, or self worth. Because if they've lost any of those things, or feel any of those things, they're going to be low, which could lead to anxiety, depression, and just really feeling like hopeless. So once you've established that, then you know the emotional detox is going to get rid of a lot of stuff. And you might want to take them back to maybe the worst time, release that. Then you're going to go on to sit on the bench and tell, or listen to what someone has got to say about that situation, or that person has got to say about it. And then you're going to either do the table where you've got them post-it notes and write down negatives, destroy them, or give them back to them. You don't have to do all of these things. This is just a guide, like guiding you to do what's best for you. do what's best for your client. Then the cord cutting, the energetic cords that run from them to the person that they don't want to be attached to, cutting that, either giving it to them, sending them on their way, burning it, dispose of it, whatever way they feel right to do so. And then going in to putting in confidence, positivity, love yourself, respect yourself. Maybe they need a voice. Don't engage. The grey rock technique. Don't engage. So that would be, instead of asking them how their weekend was, it would be like, yes, my weekend was good, thank you. End of. Don't indulge them in their games. And you will see how that can benefit certain people. Or even probably people that you've known yourself in your life. And some people might only do it every now and again, be a little bit narcissistic. Or some people like it all the time and they can't help themselves because of their own stuff that's gone on in their life. Any questions, anyone? Anyone got any sort of questions about what happens, how we do it?
So when you take him back to the worst time that things happen, so and how do you guide them to release? And
yeah, you can guide them to back to there and see things from a different perspective. See what happened, see what went on. You can even take that younger you and pop them back in your heart, keep them safe and protected, depending on what's gone on. If they've got a feeling when they think about that, and release that feeling. Depends on what the client needs, what the client wants, or what happens. As we know, things, we never know how it's going to pan out, do we? We never know. They might not get, might feel, no, I'm fine. I can just see it from a different perspective. Reframing is always important.
so in cutting cord, do we need to know what happened? Because normally in hypnosis, we don't need to know what happened and what they are releasing. But in cutting cord, do we need to know what happened and then take them back to?
If your client is coming and they want to discuss it and they'll say, this has happened, I want to sort this out. Like, I've been in a terrible marriage and the last straw was when he, punched me in the face, or he took the children, or whatever, whatever. If there was an incident that happened, then you might want to give them a little bit of help on releasing that. The emotional detox will get rid of a lot of it. The chances are, if they've been married for quite a while, they're going to want to get rid of quite a few stuff. But then it's the cutting of the cords. Let's just say, for example, he's gone off with another woman. Then it's like we're not getting back together. It's not going to happen. But the woman is still overthinking, hoping that it's going to happen, and she's dealing with a lot of rejection, feeling abandonment, or whatever it is that she's feeling. She may want to tell you what's going on. The chances are she probably will. But if she doesn't, then you'll keep it content free. So those cords will be, you can cut the cords to whatever you want, the negative thoughts, the negative behaviour that happened, a bit like the emotional detox, they're cutting off the cord. Or writing it down. You don't need to know what she's writing down. She might be writing down that, I never made the tea properly, or I never made the bed properly, or whatever it is that he might have passively aggressively been saying to her for years. that's made her feel rubbish. It's made her feel low. But the chances are most people will tell you, they want to say to you, well, this happened or that happened. So those cords can be cut. And you might want to lead them with that. You might say, oh, there's that one for all the times that he criticised you, all the times he was passive aggressive. Cut that cord. Or it could just be those negative thoughts. Sometimes when a client gets to that point where they've got the cords, then they start other things. Subconscious mind goes, oh yeah, and this happened. Oh, don't forget that. It'll come up. But we don't know that as therapists. We won't know. So it's about letting them, if you leave it ambiguous or lead a little bit, then they'll do the rest. And then putting in all the good. That's really important. When we take out something bad, we always have to put in the good. Love, respect, accept, speak up, stand up for yourself, whatever it is that they need to do. Or move on to move on in their life. Or if they have to put up with that person, to put up with them, but either reframe what they're saying, turn it into a positive, or realise that whatever they've said, that's their issue. That's because they've got their own issues going on, and it's none of your business. They're doing it for a reason. Can you see all that? Can everyone see how that works?
Yeah.
Is there anyone here that wants to experience this now in front of the class? No? Has anyone got any questions then? I'm very quiet.
Well, thinking. It's all going on.
I mean, yeah, taking it all on board.
Yeah.
Because I've got another friend that her mum, this is all would do really good from this. Another friend with her mum, but she's really angry. She's lashed out at her mum a few times, but it's just built up over years and years and years. It's only lately it's come out, and I think this would be quite good for her just to like distance and do this because her mum's not going to change. Her mum's been the same for years and years and years and years, and the only person that gets upset about it all, obviously, is her.
Yeah, and the mother wound, as they say, how that can affect you. And I think they're sometimes the worst ones because we just take it and take it and take it because it is the mother. And there's a lot of shame with that, isn't there? And a lot of guilt. So it's releasing that and putting those barriers up. And also, I know it sounds harsh, but it's self-care. It's saying like,
yeah,
I don't have to. It's hard because you want to tell the mother what you're doing and what's going on because that's the mother-daughter relationship, or son and mother or whoever it is. But there comes a time where you have to become like the grey technique and say, I'm doing this. And then that's it. Stop the conversation, or don't tell them at all, so that they can't engage because all you're doing is feeding them. You're giving them the ammunition to get back at you, and sometimes that because they're jealous of the daughter. That can often be it. Jealousy, resentment. They're not having the life that they think that they should have, the life that the daughter's having. That can often be the case.
I think that was the comment that I got.
Yeah.
Because my mum, I've lost a huge amount of weight.
Yeah.
And my mum now can't do her coats up because she's too fat.
Yeah.
And I thought, and I had to stop myself saying, take a look in the mirror, mum. You know.
Yeah.
I just laughed at that comment off. But
yeah, but you can see what she's doing And
Yeah.
when you said it to me, I was thinking, oh yeah, she wants to be like you. I mean,
Yeah.
it's what you've
Yeah.
done. It's amazing. Like, it's brilliant. Really, really good. And I'm I wouldn't say jealous is the right word, but more envious. I'm like, oh my God, I would love like be able to run a bit, let alone there's no way I don't want to run 12 miles, but just to be able to run well and to be
Yeah.
physically and mentally able to do that is brilliant.
Oh,
But there's always gonna be, whatever you do in life, and we're all at an age where we've had enough experience in life to know that there's always going to be someone that's going to give you that nasty little comment or that
mm,
candor compliment. We're always going to find people like that. And if it's one off, and that's fine. But if it's constant and if it's going to be someone that you live with or put up with, like a
yeah.
mother or a mother-in-law or a sibling or a work colleague that you that you have to put up with at work, a boss, a co-parenting position that you might find yourself in, then it's the way that you deal with it, isn't it? It's how we deal with that. And like you said, Sandra,
Mm,
I just laughed it off.
yeah.
Really, you could see right through, and she may not be aware of that, but you could see what was going on here. And
Mm,
I've had my mum's the last few years. My mum's been very similar.
mm,
Very, whatever I do, she always says to me, you can't do that.
yeah.
Like everything I do,
Yeah.
everything I do.
Oh, I get it all the time. Should you be doing that at your age? Well, yeah.
Yeah, that's the best thing.
Yeah.
If you can't do it now, when are you going to do it?
Yeah.
So, and that's what it is changing the perspective, isn't it?
Yeah.
And once you change it, it
Yeah.
makes it better. But asking the question when someone says that nasty sentence, is to say, sorry, can you say that again?
Yeah.
That you'll find most of them won't say it again. And they'll go, or they'll reframe it. It won't be as harsh because they realise. But
And whatever I do is I made her some chicken soup a few weeks ago because she likes a small amount and she can't get a small amount. And so we'd had a chicken. I cooked the chicken carcass up for 3 hours with all the stuff in it to get the stock. Then I made her some chicken soup and I cut the chicken up and I bagged it up into small portions, froze it, gave it to her. And she had a portion and the comment was, oh, that was really nice. But when you do it again, can you just shred the chicken and not cut it into small pieces? And I and I went, oh yeah, okay.
that can drive you insane, can't it?
Well,
Because
again, I just laugh. I just laugh at it. I say, all right, yeah, because whatever I do, it's not quite right.
yeah,
Whereas my blue-eyed brother, who turns up 4 times a year, who lives 10 minutes away, can't do anything wrong.
yeah, doesn't give as much attention as you do.
No,
That's
nowhere near.
common though, isn't it? That's
Yeah,
it. That scenario is really common,
yeah, yeah. But,
unfortunately.
Yeah. And when you said the word, when in that sentence you said that your mum said chicken was really nice, but
yeah,
it's that but, isn't it?
yeah,
The
yeah,
subconscious mind forgets what was said before. It's just
yeah.
into the but and what comes after,
I was waiting for the negative,
the negative.
for the absolute negative. Yeah,
And that's when you almost brace yourself for the go on,
yeah,
bring me the insult.
yeah.
But I think that's when it's important to have like a shield up and go, okay, thanks. I appreciate your opinion,
Mm,
but why don't you keep it to yourself?
yeah.
No, if you
It
said
takes balls though, doesn't it? It takes balls to say it.
and if you don't say it, but you can say it in your head,
Mm.
or like sometimes, oh yeah, whatever, or yeah, okay, and under your breath you're going, yeah, fuck off.
Yeah.
Barrier and going, actually, I'll give you that insult back, and you can have it with love. Just take it back, or seeing it for what it really is. It's more. It's normally about them. It's normally about their issue,
Mm.
not you. The chicken, like it's chicken, whether it's shredded or it's bloody cut up. It's
Yeah.
just be grateful. And my mum is so much like, she would, everything that I do is never quite good enough. Like everything.
Mm.
And when she is being nice, I'm really worried because I'm waiting.
Yes.
Oh, hang on a minute. What? Why are you being so nice to me? Because I find that more scary than her being
Mm.
nasty.
It normally means, with my mum, it normally means that she's not well. If she's being nice to me,
Yeah. Do you know what I was going to say that?
she needs me.
The only time I like my mum is when she's up. She was unwell a little while ago, and it was the only time that she was really nice. And I thought, actually, you're really nice now. Like this is nice. And then as soon as she got better, she was back to being horrible. But it's hard because I think with the mother wound, we tend to we feel bad because it's our mum, but also the nastiness is so harmful because it does harm. It does, even if you close
Mm.
it off or you think brush it off or don't be silly, it still kind of gets
It's
to you.
it's there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
isn't it? And it can be harming to the body over the years, because it's constant putting you down,
Mm.
even if it is just the chicken soup. And when you say it out loud, it's a bit like it seems petty, doesn't it?
Yes.
When you say it, like, oh, my mum moaned that the chicken wasn't cut, it should have been shredded.
Yeah.
And you're like, you're really complaining about that. But it's all of those little things, isn't it,
Mm-hmm.
that niggle away at you, that in the end they could do one thing that's wrong and you want to put a hammer to their head.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? And I'm not being like nasty, but it is that just some people can't help themselves. Um, I had an ex-husband. Well, I've still got an ex-husband. He's
What have we done with him?
yeah,
Took a hammer to his head.
I'm drinking a minute. Um, he criticised me for years, and in the end, I gave up. I gave up with because he used to say to me, like I said earlier, I'd make a cup of tea, and I put one sugar in it. And he liked it. And he liked it strong, and they go, oh, could do with life support machine. It's not very strong, is it? And then I'd make it strong. Oh, bloody hell. How strong does he want it to be? Did you stir it? Did you put any sugar in it? And this was just a fucking cup of tea. And in the end, I'd go to him when he got towards the end of our marriage. I went, the tea's never good enough. Like, no matter if it's too weak, too strong, not enough sugar, too much sugar. No matter what I do, it's never right. And it was everything. Like everything I did. Cook dinner. Oh, you could have put more salt in it. Did you put any seasoning in it? And in the end, you're just drained from it because you can't take no more. So it has to change. But it's not to say that you don't still love them. And even when they leave, when you've been in a marriage for a long time, and obviously I've seen loads of clients like this, and even myself, when you're in a long-term relationship or in a long marriage, and it comes to an end, there's still that grieving process. So although like I wanted my husband to leave and I'd had enough, there was times where I was in Tesco's walking around buying lamb chops, going, I'll get some for Adam because he loves lamb chops. And I go, hang on a minute, he doesn't live with me anymore. or going to phone him up and say, oh, by the way, this happened today, or that happened, because you're used to telling them. They're used to that. And there is, whether you want the relationship to come to an end or not, there's that grieving part where you're grieving for that person. The same as if the mother wound, dies, you're still going to grieve for it. You might remember the bad times, but you'll also remember the good times. And I think we have to remember that with our clients, is that there's a grieving process with divorce. There's a grieving process with heartache. If you've split up with someone, whether you know that it was wrong or not, there's still a grieving process. And that's where the bench can help, and the cutting of the cords and pushing in, new beginnings, feeling better, can really speed that up. I mean, I wish I'd known about it when I got divorced, because I would have had hypnosis. I wasn't a hypnotist then. Where I could have just made that a little bit easier. And sometimes we need a little bit of a process. If you're dealing with someone, an actual death, we do need to process that grieving naturally. But with a breakup, it can be a little bit quicker. Try and make it a little bit easier on the person or on your client.
Maybe I can have a little hypnosis done on me.
Yeah. What do you want to do?
It was a business partner. I finished with him ages ago, about 15 years ago. He doesn't live far where I live, so he lives close by, but I don't see him regularly. But he in social events, and most people that know him, they know me as well. And he wants to come and chat with me and pretend that everything is normal, everything went very so. But I don't like to see him, or when I see him, and then those things. So maybe I want to cut a call here, so you can do a little.
So when you think of that person, what comes up in your mind?
Is being bossy, and not doing his part in terms of like the work, but he keeping half of the share when it comes to, like, when it came to money. When my daughter wasn't well, and then I needed to go to India for her treatment, and he didn't let me. When his mother passed away, I said he didn't dare to ask if he could go. I said to him, "Go on if you want to." No, before she died, she was very, very ill. So I said, "Okay, go on if you want to see her. Go on then." But he never,
You never.
no, he never realized, and then he always thought he was. I don't know. He just wanted to um, be bossy, and yeah. So when I see him, that um, the dishonesty, most of all. Um, Mainly is that, yeah, that comes up.
Okay. All right. So let's do the cutting of the cords with him. We'll just do that and see how you get on. So just take a breath in for me. We'll take you into hypnosis. Close your eyes when you're ready. Because I've hypnotized you before, I hypnotized you a while ago, didn't I? We'll go straight into hypnosis because I know what you're like. So breathing in through the nose and exhaling out. I'm not going to do an induction. Breathe in through the nose and exhale twice as long, and letting go. That's it. Just breathing in through the nose and exhale out twice as long as you go into hypnosis.
Excuse me.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Because I've hypnotized you before, you're going to hypnosis with no problem. And you'll think about the future and where you're going and what you're doing and what you want to achieve. But you know, again, you know that you've got a few of these obstacles in your way. This person that irritates you is not as honest as you could have been. It's time to make some changes. First of all, I just want you to let go. Just imagine that white light above your head and allowing you to let go of the negative thoughts, feelings, the negative behaviours, habits, whether they're related to this person or not, it doesn't matter. Just allow the very clever and very powerful subconscious mind to release the guilt, the shame, the hurt, the pain, whatever it is that you've been holding on to for far too long. Just imagine that all coming up through the body, all the way up and out from the top of the head. Yeah. Release them. Letting it go. Just release them. Any negative thoughts, feelings, behaviours, habits. It doesn't serve you, it's time to release it. Peacefully and calmly.
Sorry, Max, speak up a bit, please.
Sorry. I want you to just release it peacefully and calmly right now. When you think that you've done enough, just let me know by giving me the nod. Yeah. Okay. Any bad images that came up when you did that? No? Okay, good. Just take a nice breath in. I know you've just breathed in. Breathe in through the nose and exhale twice as long, nice and slowly. That's it. Right. I'm going to take you for a nice walk in nature. I know you like going out in nature. So I want you to imagine and only imagine that you're going for a walk in nature. It's a beautiful day. The sun is shining. You feel relaxed and calm as you walk in nature. Anup, are you walking in nature? Great. So what I want you to do as you walk in nature, up ahead, there's a bench. Can you see that bench? Great. I want you to go and sit on the bench. You sit on the bench, you take in the view. You see what you see, hear what you hear, feel what you feel as you sit relaxed on the bench. That's it. As you sit there, someone wants to come in and have a chat with you. I don't know who that person is. It could be someone who's passed over, no longer with us, someone from the past, or someone from your current life. Maybe you've got something to say to them, or maybe they've got something to say to you. Just give me the nod when that person comes in.
Can't see one person. There's a few people that came to my mind, but I can't see anyone on the bench.
Okay, it's all right. Just take a breath in. Exhale out nice and slowly. Anyone particular coming forward? They have? Have a chat with them. Tell them what you want to tell them. Listen to what they have to say. And let me know when you're done. And just let me know when you've finished that conversation. Let me know when you're ready. That person's left. Yeah. Take a breath in. Exhale out. Nice and slowly. Anoop, was it the person that you were talking about before you went into hypnosis? No. Okay. You okay to move on? Good. So before you went into hypnosis, you were talking about a person, an old business partner. So I want you to think about some of the things that went on. You okay? And I want you to imagine in front of you is that table. And on that table, I want you to write down and post-it notes the negative things that he did that bothered you, and pop them in a jam jar, a big jar or a box, whatever you wish. Let me know when they're all in that jar or the box. Yeah? Okay. And then what I want you to do is I want you to stay in nature, but I want you to walk away from the table. And you're going to find that person standing just a few feet away from you. Just give me the nod when that person is there. Yeah. And you're going to notice that the energetic cords are attached from you to that person. And some of those are good cords and some of them are negative, but mostly negative cords that run between the two of you. And you have that jar or the box of stuff, the negative stuff that you have. I want you to hand it to that person, and I want you to take some shears or scissors or a sword or whatever it is, and I want you to cut those cords that come from you to him and him to you. Those cords that have been running through the two of you for years and years. Just imagine cutting those cords that you no longer need and no longer want, and release them. And they might fall to the floor. And you can either give the cords to him or you can burn them. Cut the cords, put them on the bonfire or burn them or whatever it is you want to do. Dispose of them, bury them. The choice is yours. Let me know when you're done. Yeah? Have you taken the cords and burnt them? Great. I want you to then see that person turn around and walk away from you. And they can either walk into the distance, never to return, or they can get on that plane, that boat, or whatever it is, or just see them going off into the distance away from you. Those cords cut with their jar or their box negativity with them with love. See them walk away with it, getting on with their life. Let me know when he's out of the distance, when he's gone. Yeah, okay. Just take a nice breath in, exhale out nice and slowly. And just notice what you notice now that he's gone. And I want you to think about who you are now, where you're going, what you're doing, and what you want to achieve. And I want you to think about how much you love yourself and respect yourself and accept yourself of who you are, the businessman that you are. And I want you to remember how amazing you are. And I want you to think about all the achievements that you've had over the last few years in your yoga practice. All the women that you've changed their lives and men, all the people that you've worked with, how you've helped them, how brilliant you are, how amazing you are, how confident you are. And I want you to see yourself moving forward as a hypnotist, becoming the best version of yourself, feeling wonderful, feeling great, feeling that sense of achievement, really feel what it's like to have that. And I want you to imagine, and only imagine, what it would feel like to be really successful and really good at being a hypnotist and having a successful business. And if you could put a colour to that, love, what colour would it be?
Red.
Right, I'm going to pop that red into your heart. There it goes, into the heart. Your heart is going to pump that beautiful red around all the way through your body, through your veins, from the top of the head all the way down to the tips of your toes, all the way through the body now. And every time you see the colours, black, white, red, blue, green, you'll remember that you are an amazing, confident man who can and will achieve anything. You just need to put your mind to it. Every time you see the colours black, white, red, blue, green, you'll remember that you are an amazing, confident man. You think about how far you've come and you remember who the hell you are. Confident, strong, you speak up for yourself, you respect yourself, and you respect others. But you protect yourself, and you see yourself protecting yourself. And anyone with any kind unkind words can come into your space but give it back to them. Those cords that were there once are now healing. Those cords that were there attaching you to anyone that said unkind words. Imagine just healing those scars, those marks in the body. Heal them. And from this day on, in the days that follow, in the weeks and the months, you'll remember that you are amazing, confident. You are the love. You give the love and you receive the love. You are confident, positive. You speak up for yourself if necessary. You respect yourself. You love yourself. You accept yourself. You remember how amazing you really are. And allow the heart to heal and every other part of the body to heal. Now. Now that you trust yourself. You trust yourself. You believe in yourself. You go with your gut instinct. You believe in yourself. That's it. To become the man that you deserve to be. Strong, confident. That's it. And I want you to just place your hand on your heart for me. Go ahead. Or your hands on your heart. And your heart might have been battered and bruised over the years. Just imagine and only imagine just fixing that heart of yours. Realigning the body, the head, the heart, the gut. Getting that balance back that you deserve. Feeling that love and all that joy and happiness. All of that achievement. Sense of achievement. Feel it running through your veins. And make that promise to yourself to be kind to you. To respect yourself. To speak up if necessary. To accept yourself. To love yourself. To trust who you are. And when you've made that promise and any other promises that you might want to make, when you've made those promises, you can come back to us nice and slowly and feel brand new.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
So really, when we did that, I have no idea what Anoop gave back. I don't know what the problem was. I mean, I know he said at the beginning some of the stuff that happened, but he dealt with it. He spoke to someone on the bench, but we don't know who it was, and that's fine. We don't need to know. But did you notice his body when he was on the bench? There was a lot of sighing, wasn't there? A lot of clearly letting go, and that's as hypnotists. That's what we're looking for. Their reaction. What's going on? There's a lot of, and when we was putting in the good stuff, there was a lot of smiling. He was looking up, almost grateful looking, didn't he? Looked like quite grateful. I might be wrong, but it's you could tell, and that's what we're looking for as hypnotists. What's going on in the body? What's happening in their face? The facial expressions, all of that are giving us indications. I mean, that was only 20 minutes or something, quick release there, but you could probably do other stuff with them. And by the time they've had a consultation and talked to them afterwards, and got dived in a bit deeper. So, are you okay, Anoop? You got any questions about what we've done?
No, I think I cut the calls quite a few with my ex-business partner, and I could see myself very successful as a hypnotherapist. And like I hear people now saying, "Oh, I hear you do yoga, and I heard that you do read really well, and you're very good." But same and even better compliments in hypnotherapy, and and it's associated when that I people approaching me and I'm handing my business card. Here's my card, and let me know. Give me a call, and we'll discuss it.
Brilliant.
So that was great. Yeah.
Yeah, because that old business is finished and it's over with. Not the yoga, the guy that
The
you
other one. Yeah.
done, and that's what we want is to cut those cords and move on. So, Ben's all right. We had a long chat.
Yes.
You don't need to know the details. You don't want to discuss it. That's your personal.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, just explaining myself to someone in the past, and who's passed away, who's no more here. So.
Oh, okay. Okay. So yeah, so there we go. Any questions from Nikki or Sandra about what we did there?
Oh, there was when you about to cut the cords. Are you going to cut all of the cords from everybody? Because, like we said earlier, if it was like their mum, you'd want to keep some of the cords because it's the mum or a link.
Yeah.
Not all of them are bad.
Yeah, I said cut all of them. I said just cut the cords.
But he's not in his life anymore, is he? The man. So that's what I mean. So you change it depending on the
Yeah,
relationship.
I mean, if it was a mother or a sibling or someone or co-parenting partner, then I might have said, there might be love cords that you want to hold on to. You might want to keep those. But I think with Anoop, he made it quite clear someone that he doesn't really care for in his life. It wasn't someone that, you could cut those cords and it wouldn't cause any problems. Whereas if, let's say that, for example, like if it was a mother, like I said, if it was a mother, it would be going, you still can have that love and that affection. You can still look after and care for your mother, but the nastiness cords can be cut and got rid of. But that's all going to be back to your client. Your client is your script. Your client is going to guide you to what you're going to do. Even if you keep it ambiguous, they might want to say, I'm going to keep the love cords, the cords that are there. You might have done that in your pre-talk. Do you see what I mean? Because if you was talking to someone about the mother wound, you might say to them, well, you still love the mother, but you want to cut the bad cords and just keep the love. That's fine. But you probably would establish that in the beginning.
I cut all the cords with this guy because whatever was boggling my mind, he said this, he acted that way, and so I cut all those that were negative. Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting to see how you feel in a few days' time. So just check in with yourself in a few days and see how you feel about that person. That could change immediately. Some people will come out and they go, "Oh my God, now I think about my sister or my mum, I don't feel that anxiety kick in." Um, it's obviously got to be, if they're on they've been through a journey that they needed to let go of stuff, that will all start to kick in as well. So you need a few days to let the dust settle, see how they, like any hypnosis, see how they feel in a few days' time. Um, you might ask them straight after hypnosis, how do you now feel about your mother, your father, your sister, or whoever? Does it feel different? It might not at first, but it might after a couple of days, and they might say, "Oh, now I think about that person, I don't feel so angry against them, or don't feel such rage against them, or resentment, or whatever it was that they were feeling in the beginning."
I already feeling a bit kind of unbothered and detached from him. Although when we finished this about 15 years ago, and I was furious whenever I saw him, although I worked on myself, and I could see why he came into my life, because if he hadn't, I would still be in retail industry, which I made a living, but it wasn't a joy for me.
No, it wasn't.
And after we finished with him, and I started on the yoga journey, and it's amazing. So I already know that him coming into my life for a reason that pushed me, like, okay, things are not working, so I need to look for something else. And that something else was there for me. I needed to look from this side to that. Oh, there it is. So that's me.
Mm.
Um, and thinking of good thing about him, one good thing is really good, positive, although I'd never expected him. So my diet is vegetarian, but whenever we went somewhere, we went out to China once, I think, with him. And I always said to him, his diet is non-vegetarian. So I always said to him, do eat what you like, order what you like. But he never, ever, ever ordered non-veg stuff when we were at the same table. So although I didn't have any expectation of him, but as a mark of regard or respect or whatever call it, he never ate non-veg in front of me. So that's a good thing about him.
Yeah.
But yeah, I have done work on myself. The degree of whether it's the anger or whatever it is, and it's come down a lot. But I still see. But now I feel a lot lighter. I feel okay. He's not in my life anymore. So yeah, hopefully that all those negative calls will be. I mean, I burnt them. I just put a petrol on them and then just put light to it, and then they got burnt.
Good. It's quite powerful, isn't it?
It was, yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah, so you know what you're going to do now. Everyone knows what happens and how it's going to work and who you can help.
Yeah.
Once you start using the cord cutting, you will find it really beneficial. And just add it into a course or into a session, depending on what's going on. Any questions about what we've done? Seem to be happy.
Not today, but I will have not now because I don't want to take everyone else's time. I'll have a brief chat with you about the client approaching me for smoking. So I think I mentioned to you that I announced in one of my classes, and he said he will get in touch with me about smoking. So I had a message from him last night that I've been thinking of hypnotherapy, and how many sessions would I need and how much would it cost. I haven't replied to him yet. So yeah, a few questions. I thought I'll message him back that I need to see if you're ready to quit.
Yeah, definitely.
I can't give you how many. I can't tell you at the moment how many sessions you would need, but I need to see if you're ready. You know, when we say it's coming from them and not from their mom or sister or wife. Yeah. So the questions leading to me finding they really, really want to quit. He really wants to say goodbye to yeah.
This can't be, like you said, from a family member or whatever to say that it's time to let go of that habit. It's got to be ready, otherwise it won't work. So yeah, we can talk about that.
Yeah.
This week, if you want to talk about that, that's cool.
He's connected with quite a few other people that like directly, indirectly connected to me as well through yoga and through him. So
a good one then,
when his experience is good and he's managed to quit, and then the word will pass around, and yeah.
Yeah, that's what we want. That's what happens with most things. Once you help one person, it snowballs. Other people will want to come to you. Yeah. Okay.
This is what I hear about my yoga business. So I've heard you doing here and you doing at this gym and this leisure center, and people are coming. So yeah, same with hypnosis.
Yeah, that's what happens. And then you get a new identity. It just a little bit of time. I've had the same when it was, my identity as a hair and makeup artist, specialising in weddings, and now come up at all. And I haven't seen someone for years and years and years, but it just doesn't. They know this is who I am now. It takes time. You'll get there. You all will. Right. Okay. This is recorded, and I will I will send it to you individually on your WhatsApp. I'll upload it tomorrow and then send it to you. In the meantime, if anything comes up or if there's things that you thought of after we finish, you weren't sure about, you can always contact me direct. WhatsApp is the best way. Just contact me if you've got any questions or anything that you're not sure about. Or indeed, if you see a client for what cutting cords, let me know how you get on with it.
Okay.
How you found it, yeah.
Okay, thank you, Maxine.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thanks,
everyone.
guys. And yeah, be in touch. Speak to you soon.
Yeah,
Thank you so
okay.
much. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks.
Bye.
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 Bye.